And now, right to your host of this House of Musicians, Barry Smith.
Hey, good evening, fine listener, and welcome to this House of Musicians radio show right here on Reality Radio 101. We hope you enjoy the next hour with us as we do our small part to help promote musicians, bands, and venues. Gary LaBar, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, excited about tonight because, as you talked about with me, I love classic sounding, classic rock, bluesy bands. I think that's the best music ever made in the history of music, and we have some folks on the air right now who are going to do that for us.
Absolutely. These guys are all young guys, folks, and they have a rockin', keeping it alive, rock and roll, 70s style band, rock and roll blues band called Taming, Sari, and I want you all guys out there to check out their videos on YouTube, check out their music. They have some new releases. We're going to play a couple of their songs tonight, but for now, let's introduce Warren and Alex from Taming, Sari. How are you guys?
Hey, Barry, how's it going?
Hey, we're doing great. Thanks for having us. Got Mig and Joe, guitarist, with us here as well. Say hi, guys.
Hi, man.
There you go. Okay, I'm writing down Joe, the guitarist, and Mig.
He's the rhythm guitarist.
Let me get this straight. Warren, you're the singer.
Yep.
Alex is the bass player. Yep.
And then Joe's lead, and Adam's the drummer. I don't know. He's upstairs. He'll be here. He'll be here. Everyone else is here.
That's okay. And you know what? It's the first time we've had the whole band at one time, so that is pretty darn cool. I'm glad you guys all got together for this segment of the show tonight. I want to start with Alex. You're there, right, Alex? I think me and you were emailing back and forth to each other over the last week.
I am usually the email guy. That's right. Yeah.
Good. Well, everyone has a job to do, and that's why I'm thinking McGill is probably upstairs making everybody craft dinner.
Oh, he prefers ramen noodles.
Hey, you guys are musicians. That's all you can have. So there you go.
Well, sometimes we have risotto. Sometimes we make lasagna. Like, we try to vary, what we're making when we're on tour or recording. We have a palate, we're foodies sometimes.
Alex likes to cook. He likes to cook. He's a chef dad.
Yeah, he makes us really good meals.
Well, hey, that's a musician's lunch right there for sure. Let me talk to Alex for a sec. Alex, you're a bass player. I just want to ask you how you were influenced by music to start the show off, how you were influenced by music when you were younger. Were your parents musicians? Did your older brother have a vinyl collection? Or, and not only that, but who you were inspired by growing up?
Well, music came to me, it was always something really cool that was part of my life. When I got my first bass when I was 12 years old, and I started listening to Sum 41 and Blink 182, and that was like the first time that I picked up the bass and I wanted to play something. But then I discovered, like, oh my God, there's much better music that was made in the past, in the 60s, 70s. Going to the Zeppelin and like Rolling Stones and stuff like that.
You were big into Iron Maiden too.
I was big into Iron Maiden. I was big into the 80s, Anthrax and Judas Priest. But when I was younger, I was in an orchestra all throughout high school. So I played, all the classical pieces. I was also in a blues band. So, played some Ray Charles, dabbled with, jazz and blues. And after high school, I wanted to do rock. So I really leaned into it. And that's where, I found the guys that I'm with right now. And now we're a band.
Yeah, that's excellent. And a good band at that. Warren, how about you, bud? You have a killer voice. You have a killer voice, and you suit the part perfect, man. Who were your influences growing up?
Well, I remember going to like a big dance street party in Chesterville, a little small town of about 1,000 people. And I remember being like 4 or 5 dancing through the night to like all the oldies. like 50s mostly, 50s and some 60s, and that memory's always stuck with me. And then I was an actor growing up, and got my love of the stage, I think, that way. And finally, got messed up in my 20s and realized I could sing. So I guess that kind of, was a lot of fun, and it led me here. Also, I guess who would influence me? I love, of course, the greats, Jim Morrison, Freddie Mercury, all the greats, John Fogerty, Joe Cocker, Black Crowes, like you said, Free. There's a lot of great bands. Still there?
Yeah, we're still here.
Sorry, I'm here. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Warren, that's absolutely amazing. Let me ask McGill, this McGill Brunette Kingsbury. McGill, tell me, you play lead guitar, man. Who are your inspirations?
He plays rhythm.
Yeah,
guitar.
I play rhythm guitar, but I would say, I don't know, AC/DC. Like Sum 41, when I was young, I got into the punk pop thing. But Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Rolling Stone, that's my favorite band. All of the old stuff. Beatles too, I guess. Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, John Mellon.
Yeah.
Miguel's from Quebec.
Yeah, I'm from Quebec, so a lot of Quebec stuff, French stuff too, like
Offenbach.
Jean Leloup, Jerry Boulet, Offenbach, Éric Lapointe.
Yeah, Eric Lapointe, yeah.
Cool.
There's a lot of good stuff on both sides, I think.
Yeah, good for you. And what about Joe? I got Joe Fraser here, lead guitar. And Joe, how about you? Who were you influenced by?
From an early age, because my dad got me into a lot of the classics. So I've always had a love for Zeppelin. It's like my favorite fucking band of all time. I can't say that. Sorry.
It's okay.
They are good.
Like just so many of those, but I listen to literally everything. There's not a genre of music that I don't listen to. I listen to music every single day, and I'm constantly looking for new stuff. Which I find brings an originality to the band. Not to toot my own horn, but I feel like we're not just a Southern rock band. We're way more than that because of our love for music. We all listen to so many different genres and so many different things that it all influences what we make.
Yeah, it absolutely shows too. Now, I think I'm missing Adam here. Adam, did I ask you, the drummer, Adam?
Adam's here now.
Is Adam done? Is he done making the craft dinner for you guys, or what?
I am done.
Good, man. Adam, favorite drummers, bud? Who's your favorite drummers? And who you're inspired by when you? Tell me this too. How old were you when you first started playing drums?
I started when I was 12. I was on the drum line in the Air Cadets, and that's what I started trumpet player, actually. That was my first year, and then I realized that was not for me. So, the entire time I wanted to be, on the drum line, so I started my love there. I was a huge Metallica fan when I was that age, so, like, obviously, Lars was one of the ones that when I started, but then I realized that was not the right choice if I wanted to become a good drummer. So, I did the good stuff, like Zeppelin. I am a huge fan of Tool.
You're a huge Tool?
So like a lot of like, like little beats and following guitar riffs and little things, right, that got me in there. And I was also a big fan of Godsmack, Shannon Larkin, because of his showmanship, right? He was always like so energetic on stage. So I guess it was a mix of all those, and then having a solid background of like growing up with Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and Guns N' Roses, and all those good bands. Like it brought me really close to a John Bonham style, I guess.
That's the best for me, man. That's awesome. And Your first drum set. Do you remember getting your first drum set?
Oh yeah, man. It was a Westbury kit. It was black. And,
How old were you?
I was 14. I think I was 14 or 15. And so I never played drums before, but I was on the drum line, so I had some kind of knowledge. So my dad came home and he acted mad, and he's like, "Go in the van. You did something with your bike, and go fix it." So I'm just like all grumpy. I open the door and there's a drum kit right there. So that was a
Great
very
dad.
nice. Yeah. So I set the drum kit in the kitchen. And I played it, and my mom was like, "Oh, you can play."
Wow.
Yeah, and that was it, man. That was the start of the masterpiece. No.
Well, hey, your mom said you could play. Now put that drum set back in the garage.
Yeah.
Play it out there. I want to ask Warren, the singer. I think I might have already asked you this, or probably not, but I don't recall you telling me who some of your favorite singers were. Who do you idolize yourself after, or who some of your favorite singers are when you were growing up?
For sure, like, I'm trying to think. Like, definitely Joe Cocker, definitely Stevie Ray Vaughan, the Black Crowes. There's a lot of great vocalists, and I'm into all of them, but I have that raspy, full frontal, in your face effect, and I definitely look at those vocalists for inspiration, I think.
And you know what? I've often said for years now, if you ever listen to radio, buy albums, buy CDs, if you're a music person, it's a lot of times the guys and girls with the raspy voices, like Joe Cocker, and the raspy screaming voices are the ones that usually make it. Like, I'm sure there's lots of singers out there like Tom Jones and whatnot as well that do well, but in the rock business, in the rock field, it's always the raspy screamers that seem to do well.
Rod Stewart, growing up, I think, set that tone for that understanding. And, there's certain guys like that where their voice is just, it's patent. You know who it is when they start singing. There's no question about it. Janis Joplin is the power side of it,
Yep.
And all those artists from the 60s and the 70s and the 80s who are not afraid to be as loud and confrontational as possible with their voices. I think that's what I'm going for.
And it seems to work. It seems to have worked for an awful lot of people. Why don't you guys tell me how you guys met?
Okay, well, I think Adam and Miguel were in a band, and I came out and jammed with them one time back in 2017, and it was a lot of fun. We had a good time, and then eventually Alex joined, and then last year we added a new guitar player, and that was Joe. So he's coming up on his first year with us as the lead guitar player in this band.
It's going to have health benefits, and then the next couple of months, the probation period will be over, and then
so does that mean that Joe has all the equipment?
No. Drummer. The drummer has the jam space. He has the drum kit, of course. He has the rack mount for XR18.
But Joe's a baby. Joe's the youngest in the band, so Joe's got the youth on his side.
Yeah, no kidding. That's awesome. I was going to ask, what was I going to ask you guys? So you guys hooked up, did you just start after you met each other, just said, shit, we got something here, let's write some songs?
Yeah, basically, like we already had a couple of songs from the other band. Exactly, but we didn't really have a bassist on the, and then Alex joined in and he showed up, and already knew our songs on the first jam, because that's Alex.
Yeah, wow.
And so it's just like once we realized, we had something, we went for it. And then, we were told a couple times that, our live show did not give justice to
what we had online and on Spotify. So we said, hey, let's try and get a producer on this. So we got lucky enough, and we got Ross on board. And from that point on, we said, like, okay, guys, let's do this. Let's pour our savings and
our life. Yeah. So since 2018, we've been working with Ross A. Citrillo. He's a producer in Toronto.
Yep.
And essentially, he's just helped us tap into Warren's voice the best way possible, and just making the best arrangements we can with the songs that we write. And I mean, our goal is just we just want to release single after single of excellent rock songs that people can dance and groove to. And we try to pair it with the videos. We were talking about the videos earlier. We love making those like crazy videos of us, messing around, but also, creating some interesting visual for people when they go on our YouTube channels and try to discover who we are.
And it's working too, because I was impressed, guys. This is probably, I don't know, almost the 90th show or 85th show that I've done, and have had many, many bands on here, some popular, some not so popular, but you guys, I believe you guys have something. You stay with it, work hard every day to promote, and keep writing great songs like you are, and you guys are going to do really well. So why don't we do this, folks? Before we do this, check these guys out. They're called Taming Sari. You can find them online. I'll get one of the guys to tell you where you can go find their stuff. But if you Google YouTube Taming Sari, that's TAMINGSARI, you will not be disappointed. It's refreshing to see a new rock band come along that is keeping that traditional rock and roll alive. Guys, let's do this. Let's play your song Down by the Devil, and then we'll come back and talk about it. How does that sound, fellas?
Perfect.
All right, guys.
Great.
Folks, I have Taming Sari on the show this evening, and this is their song, Down with the Devil, right here on this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101.
Straighten up, soldier, instead of playing a fool. We got no time to waste, we're getting older. We broke all the rules.
folks. As Gary Labar says, welcome back to this House of Musicians radio show. We have a pretty cool rock band called Taming Sari on the show this evening, and we just heard their title single debut from May 2019 called Down with the Devil. Guys, great song. Where'd that song come from?
So we were recording with Ross Acetrillo in Toronto, and we were, doing our first album, and it was one of the songs that came up. Miguel, our rhythm guitarist, had a good guitar part, and I really liked, and I had a chorus idea for it and verse ideas for it, like right away. And the producer had some good ideas. Like, he wanted me to rewrite a lot of the lyrics, and I did. I rewrote them in about half an hour, and I think it was a good decision. And like one of the requests he made was that we make it Down with the Devil instead of Down with the Demon, which is what it was originally. And he wanted it to be, not plural. He said, let's make it singular. So, so we went for the singular, and I think that also helped with the chorus. So I think a part of our having success with that song, or it breaking through a little bit for us, was that as a band, we're willing to listen to criticism from our producer. We're willing to take input from him and make changes. And we've been told a lot of bands don't like to do that necessarily. So we'd always advise young bands, if you get somebody, if you're paying someone to work with you, you should take their advice sometimes.
Man, me and Gary talk about that so much. It's so true. You get guys on the show that say, I'm going to do it my way, and that's it. What they don't realize is there's other people putting their money in, especially maybe, I don't know about nowadays, I guess probably still nowadays, but back in the olden days, a lot of the record companies would spend millions on bands, and they'd want them to do it, do it this way. And then the people wouldn't say no. The artists would say, no, we don't want to do it that way, and end up going nowhere with it. There's take and give in it all. So I think you're doing the right thing by taking other people's advice. It's always great to think that you're great, but for someone else to look in from the outside, they can, especially somebody that's experienced, they can really add a lot of flavor and vocals and words and stuff to your song. So I think you're doing the right thing in that aspect.
Well, in an era that everyone is trying to do everything themselves, it doesn't hurt to go seek out some expert, help. But people that do that for a living and that have earned their stripes in that industry, right? Everybody can record at home now, but it's just like, how do you get the best quality recordings? How do you put out the best single you can? How do you create like that chorus moment that everybody wants to hear? Because that's our goal, right? We want to create something that people are going to want to hear and time again, which is where we're trying to go with our music.
Absolutely. You want it to be yours as well, which it is, but you also want it to be satisfying for the listener.
You have to marry the two, right? You have to marry what people want to hear, but also what you want them to hear. I think it's a combination of both.
Agreed. What about touring, guys? Before COVID, were you guys, I know you've been a band for 3 years. Did you do any touring before COVID hit?
We played some in New Brunswick, Canada. We played we played some in Quebec and some in Ontario. So we've done some touring. This coming weekend we'll be in Kingston, and then we've got shows planned in Toronto and Montreal coming up as well. And this summer we'd really love to hit the festival circuit in some capacity.
Festivals are always amazing to play, but let me tell you guys, or ask you guys, when you're in Toronto, please send me an email, because my wife and I are concert goers, and we'd love to come see you guys.
Awesome.
Do you like the Horseshoe Tavern as a venue?
Doesn't everybody love the Horseshoe Tavern? Absolutely. We'd love to come to the Horseshoe Tavern.
That's where we're going to be. We're going to be there.
January 13th. We're planning January 13th to be there on the Thursday. We're going to have a direct support spot. It hasn't been announced yet, but
we're announcing it here, obviously.
Yeah. I wrote it down, January 13th. So if Alex could stay in touch and send me an email closer to that date, we'd love to come see you guys.
Awesome.
That's so. Now this song with the single that you recorded, that we just listened to, "Down with the Devil." Where did you guys record that?
We recorded in Toronto with Ross Hayes Citrillo. He has a company called RHC Music.
Okay, cool. And what was that? But is this the first time you've been in recording a tune? It was your debut, right?
No. Like we went and recorded with him. All of our songs that we've released on Spotify, we've recorded with Ross. But previous to that, we've all recorded with other people in past projects.
Cool. I just want to talk about going into the recording studio, how cool it is.
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic experience. I mean, going into the studio, it's for us, it's
a process.
It's a process, but it's getting to work with magic in a certain way, and we go into our own zone, and it's a very special creative space. There's no doubt about it. We love it when we get to go record.
Absolutely, and it's even better to then you record a song and then you have it to put out on Spotify and YouTube. The beauty thing that I always say is it's going to be there forever. So, I mean, that's just a beauty thing of putting songs out on the internet for people. It's always going to be there.
Yeah, and that's why we work so hard to make the song good, and why we tell anybody, make that song as good as you can, because, like you said, it does have some permanence in this world.
Absolutely, it sure does. Yeah, and it's like you say, permanence. It's going to stay there. There's no question about that. Let me tell you guys this. I love the fact that I was in contact with Alex for the last 2 or 3 days or last week about doing the show. Somehow there was a mix-up last week, and I think you guys were supposed to come on, and I think I double booked or just whatever happened, but it didn't happen. So I'm glad you guys came back this week. But what I love, which is something you don't see often, is you guys' camaraderie. You're all there together right now doing this interview. You drove, Adam drove, I believe Adam drove and picked up a couple of guys or a guy and then drove across town, and now you guys are all together in the jam space doing this interview. That shows a lot of camaraderie, man, that you guys are into this together. I love that.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think that's part of our creative process as well. Before we go to the studio and we go record with Ross, like everything happens in the room. Someone's going to come up with a good riff. Warren's going to come up with like a good song idea, a good melody, and we're all blending our brains together to create those songs. So in terms of the creative process, it's much of a unit type thing. So every Tuesday and every Thursday we get together and then we do what we have to do. If it's a podcast that night, if it's a writing session, or it's preparing for a show, we're all together and we're living it.
Warren here. In sports they talk about passengers on hockey teams sometimes. Like, there's no passengers on this team. And that's the way Taming Sari works, is nobody's a passenger. No one is sitting on the sidelines going, "Oh, I'm the rhythm guitarist. I don't have to do anything. I just have to play the rhythm." No one is doing that, So we're lucky that we get that.
Absolutely. And so now when you guys write your songs, do you go into Ross's in Toronto and actually do the writing there, or do you bring stuff to him?
We write it, and we bring it to him and we pre-prod it. And so in that process, we often might change the key of the song. We might change the key 2 or 3 times.
Right.
We'll change the arrangement. We might move a bridge. We might add a verse, remove a verse. Who knows? But the pre-production is always the most stressful part, I think, because we go there with our song ideas where we become attached to them and we really like our ideas. And then when it becomes time for pre-production, it's sort of like, oh, we're going to strip it down and dress it all back up again, We were
talking about the criticism earlier. That's where it comes in. It's like, what you guys have worked on is great, but let's make it better. Let's bump it up that 10%. And that's where we sort of have to wear our hearts on our sleeves and be like, okay, like I'm going to accept this, and I'm going to, for the betterment of the song, I'm going to change this part, or I'm going to change this line.
I like to think of it like we're scientists and we're mad scientists, and we're trying out different things. Like, oh, we'll try the tempo, let's try the BPM this way, and we'll try the key this way, and sometimes you get this really interesting result that you're pleased with.
I can't stress enough how important it is, being in bands for many years myself, how important it is to keep that same feeling of one of the band members comes in with something he thinks is great, and two other guys or Ross says, well, let's just change. And, there's a lot of people that'd be like, no, this is the way I want it. This is what I felt. It's beautiful that you guys can all work together and pick apart somebody's idea or two guys' idea, and then, make it 10% better, 20% better, whatever you do. Because the end project of the whole thing, the end result is going to be, you're all going to be there doing it anyway as one when it comes out as a song. So I think that's great that you guys don't butt heads, and I think it's something that you have to keep in mind for the rest of your careers if you stay together, is don't butt heads. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's tough. Like
it's tough.
This is Warren and the singer, and whenever I get the criticism, especially with Down with the Devil, I wasn't used to it at all. It was like a brand new experience getting this type of criticism. And like when he said to me, like, I want you to rewrite all the lyrics. Like, I want you to, like he said, like, the chorus is good. There's only a couple of changes, but I want you to go rewrite all the verses. And my reaction was like, like, what?
What? Yeah, because now it's going to be a different song. It's not going to be the song you wrote, kind of, right? Kind of thought like that.
That's right. But once I went and I did it, and it made perfect sense. I understood why once it was done, and that's where I had a good growth moment. And I think that's the thing. You have to go for those growth moments because they hurt. Growing is pain, and that's fine. You get through it, and then you're better for the next song. And I think our latest single, Crazy, it wouldn't be doing as well as it's doing if we didn't learn all the lessons we learned with Down with the Devil.
Absolutely. Learning experience as you go, for sure. And as you say, being able to change things is the essential key to make, especially like if you have somebody experienced as Ross is and guiding you along to do it. If he's got a lot of experience because he's done it all before, and plus the other band's input too. It's very important to be able to put your heads together and say, well, this part might not be so good. Sorry, Alex, this part that you did here is not so good, but we want you to try this, because like I said, the end result is the song. And I bet you, Warren, that you think now, since those lyrics were changed in Devil, that it's better than it was when you went in with your lyrics.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's way, way, way better. Way better.
So that's the whole key. Like, you don't think that at first. Like you say, when Ross said that to you, you were probably like, what the hell? And then you did it. Now you think it's way better. So he saw the future.
Definitely.
Just thinking about the permanence of those songs, if Warren was able to keep those lyrics on, I don't know where we'd be right now.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, and he doesn't, and I'm sure that McGill doesn't mean that in a bad way. He's just saying it would be a different song.
Yeah, exactly.
So you guys all do the writing? Because what I want to ask is what your creative writing process is like. For me, I had a band for 10 years, Inner City Outlaws. I played and toured Ontario and did all that stuff. Now I just pick up my guitar, play something, a riff, just an original riff, just pick something up and play, record it on my phone, and then come back to it maybe a couple weeks later. Probably have 500 of those things on my phone, but come back and listen through a few and maybe pick one and turn it into a song. So I usually always start it with the acoustic or an electric with distortion and whatever, but like a metal electric sound or rock electric sound. But I usually record on my phone and then come back to it and make it into a song later. I don't usually have the lyrics first. It's usually a riff. So let me ask you guys, as the writers in the band, how you guys go about doing that, what your creative writing process is.
We're definitely riff hunters. Like for sure, we're in the riff hunter category. Where as a vocalist, I'm always looking for these guys to show me some magic that just inspires my brain. Like I always say to them, like our best songs, like I didn't really have to think about the lyrics for very long. Like they just come to me if the song is bumping. And then I can change them later. But if I'm getting that melody, like right away, if my head is snapping a melody onto that riff, then I'm excited. I'm really excited.
There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work that goes into a bit the same category that you were talking about recording those riffs on your phone. Like I have about like 30 or 40 bass lines on my phone that I think are potential backbones to a song, right? But then it's presenting it to the band, and it's like, okay, is that going to work well? Are Adam and I going to gel well on that groove? Is the lead going to sit well on it? Is Miguel going to find something that really sort of bites into that groove? And then we look at Warren, and then we look at Warren's voice, Warren's face rather. We look at his face, and then we say like, okay, is he singing? Is he thinking? And it's true. It's true. When we have something that's bumping, that's grooving, Warren usually just lays something on top of that, and it becomes a song. And then we know we have something that we're all proud of. But yeah, it starts with riffs, and it starts with a good gut feeling that we have something good going on.
Absolutely, guys. And let's not forget how prominent a riff in a song is. Whole Lot of Love, Black Dog, the list, Walk This Way. I could sit here all night and tell you guys that the most famous songs, 80%, I don't know what it is, but in my eyes, it's an awful lot, have a bloody electric guitar or keyboard riff that makes the song what it is.
Definitely. That's absolutely the way we would think about it, for sure.
Good. Yep, that's good. And riffs are a good thing to go off of, for sure. You get a good riff, and like I say, so many rock songs have so many great riffs in them. It seems to be one of the keys to success, actually, for me. Guys, I want to do this. I want to play your next song. I really like this next song. I liked your last song, but this is your new single out. I think this is more rock and rollish. Well, so was the other song. What am I trying to say here? It's just more 70s rock. The video is amazing, and I want the folks out there to hear it. So let's play Crazy, and we'll come back and discuss Crazy. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Awesome, guys. Folks, I have Taming Sari on the show this evening. These are some young guys that are keeping rock and roll alive, and I'm really happy to have them on the show, and I'm really happy to watch them on YouTube and listen to them on Spotify, because, like I say, it's refreshing to have this kind of rock and roll that seems to have left us over the last 20 years or longer. The 70s, 60s, and 70s rock seems to be gone, but these guys are definitely keeping it alive. So let's go ahead and play their song called Crazy right here on this House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101. Welcome back, fine listeners. We have Taming Sari on the show this evening. 5 young, amazing rock guys who are keeping rock and roll fresh for us all, and it's very impressive. We just heard their song, Crazy. Guys, tell me how that song came about.
All right. Well, yeah, it's quite the journey for Crazy. So it started out with an idea. Actually, it started with a bass riff. You know that bass riff that you hear, the doop 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 doop.
Yep. Well, we talked about
Adam,
riffs, how important riffs are in songs, and usually they're guitars riffs. So that's pretty cool that it started with a bass riff.
Yeah, and then Adam came in with the drums, just like, you know, like just that, you know, that big groove in the back, and then. Oh my God, Joe Fraser, the newest member of the band, came in with that, well, wah-na-now, you know, just right, just that riff, you know, and It started up like that. And, you know, Warren just soaring on top of all that, you know, with his vocals. And after a few changes, a few arrangement changes over at Ross's, that song just became what it is. But we knew we had something like really groovy when we wrote it right from the get-go. So we're really proud of that one, and it's been getting some good traction for us. So we're really happy. We're really going 100% on this one.
We started 35 on the Canadian Active Rock charts. Yeah. So that was our first time ever charting in the top 40 here in Canada.
Good for you guys. And what a rocking song it is. It does have that old classic feel to it, and it's got that great riff in it as well. So it's understandable that it would be 35 in the top 40. Good for you guys. And I enjoy watching the video. As I said before, you guys all look like you belong where you're supposed to be. And if you keep your heads together and work hard, I think you have a good chance of doing something really good for yourselves. But what I want to know is how you guys came up with the name, because I know there's a Taming Sari Tower in Mille, and which is somewhere, I don't know, on the other side of the world, I believe. It's this crazy tower that's a ride or something, and it's called Taming Sari, and so is there any connection with that?
Well, basically, what there is some connection to not the tower, but the name itself is basically it means flower. It means flower shield.
Okay.
I think in Malay in Malaysian culture. So basically, it's a knife. It's like a kris. Yeah. And it was believed that whoever had it would be invincible, you know. And so there's definitely some history there. But what when I found this is Adam, by the way, the drummer. When I first found the object and I saw the name, I thought as like, you know, Taming Sari, and it was like what if Sari was a creature of, like, you know, Mother Nature of some kind, you know, and then make it into Taming Sari, that, you know, mankind or humankind is trying to tame something that's untamable, you know. So the name it stuck around. Everybody, you know, like kind of liked it. We waited a couple weeks to see if it was still nice, and we decided to go for it and get that image of the creature made as a logo.
Absolutely. And one of the pictures that I posted for your promo of, I guess, the devil, the girl, is just who did that artwork, man? That's incredible.
We had a tattoo artist from Montreal who did the initial drawing, and it's a beautiful drawing. I don't think it's
actually a picture of someone that she drew. Right?
Yeah, it's a picture of someone that she drew, and they made more like, you know, like an artwork, and then we used that and then created a crest.
Took it to a logo.
Yeah, so we got a friend of mine from high school. I think it's CCGC or something like. Anyways, he's got his own business and he does this amazing work for logos. So I sent it to him and I said, "Hey, can you make this nice for us?"
Cool.
So that he did a great job on that. Yeah.
It does. It looks awesome. I want you guys to tell the folks out there where they can find you online.
Well, you can online. There's multiple places. All social medias. You can go directly on our website, www.tamingsariband.com, and then you'll have all the links to go to our Facebook, which is Taming Sari Band, Instagram, YouTube. If you Google Taming Sari Band on Google, it'll take you to all those beautiful places for you.
Yeah. Yep. Good for you. And folks, just to let you know, it's TAMINGSARI, Taming Sari. Taming Sari Band. So check them out, folks out there, because you won't be disappointed. Love what you guys are doing. What do you have on the go at the moment?
Well, right now we're planning on going back to the studio very shortly. We have a Kingston show next weekend. We also have a video shoot. We're shooting a video for our latest single that's going to be coming out early 2022. And yeah, we're going to get a couple more songs ready and take them to Ross and keep making that magic and keep booking shows. I think we're planning to do a tour and the festival runs next summer.
We've got some beer left of our Taming Sari beer through Cartwright Springs Brewery in Pakenham, Ontario. So we've got some left for sale, and we've also got our vinyl, our very first vinyl coming out probably in February. So we're very excited about the new year, and we'll have more rockin' tunes coming for you.
To be young and to sound as good as you guys do and play as well as you all do, you guys all must be having a blast, man.
Oh, hell yeah. I got to tell you that last Saturday, opening up for JJ Wild at the Bronson Center with the radio station Rebel 101.7, that was a dream come true. We were beaming the whole night. Just
500 people having a great party.
Yeah.
Did you guys nail it, or did anyone make a mistake and no one knows, or did you nail it?
Well, let me tell you this. The only mistake that was made was we had too much fun.
Yeah. After the show,
Of course.
Rack maybe after the show a bit.
Of course. I mean, you play a show like that, you come off stage, you're opening for JJ Wild, you come off stage, that's a natural high, man. Before you start getting into the beer and the weed, that's a natural high all on its own. That'll last a couple hours.
That's right.
Couple of days, yeah. Got to make it last.
Couple of days, absolutely, guys. Well, what can I say, man? It's been wonderful to have you guys on the show. Joe, Alex, Warren, Adam, McGill. I look forward, like I said, in January to come out and see you guys. But before we go, I'm going to ask you my favorite question I like to ask all the artists on the show. I know a highlight was opening for JJ Wild, but tell me a crazy story that has happened to you guys, either on stage, on a tour bus, just touring, or do anything at all. Just a crazy story that's happened.
There's so many of them.
I'll say one. So one time we were doing a show in New Brunswick, and there was the stage was a truck trailer, like a semi truck trailer, and I'd never seen that before. And then someone said, "Oh, I think this show is run by a biker gang," and we're like, "Oh, okay." And then the next thing you know is we saw this web of what are they called? Extension cords, and all these extensions and plugs going into each other, and it was not looking good. It looked like a web of 80s computer cords or something. And anyways, we got through the show. It was a great chicken dinner and great night and everything, but
there was even a fashion show on the semi truck.
Yeah,
there was 2 flatbed semi trucks. There was a fashion show, and then it was a crazy night.
It was a bit of a weird night,
and it was cold too. We were playing outdoors in October.
It was cold too.
Yeah.
Were there a lot of bikers?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
a couple of chapter leaders.
You know what? The style of music you guys play, I think you should be prepared to be playing for a lot of biker shows. That's the kind of tunes that they like.
Just email us at tamingsariband@gmail.com. In the subject line, write biker show. We'll
And you know what?
right away.
There's nothing wrong with that. All the bikers are great, man. They'll love what you're doing, so you won't have any problems there. Guys, again, thank you. But one more segment of the show I'd like to do is called, well, Gary Labar, what do you think of this young, fabulous rock and roll band?
Well, first of all, I love them. That's number one. I love the vocal line. We say Black Crows, that stuff. It's got a very, very, comparison to that band, but some of the vocal lines that go up vocally almost sound like some early Geddy Lee when he goes up to a note or so, and that kind of is something I enjoyed. But, I love the guitar sound. It's definitely a 70, 80 Marshall type of sound, really, really nice. It flows great with the bass. I like that. A lot of the bass is brought out front in the mix. It really keeps the, music going. But I'll tell you one thing that a lot of people don't know about. I grew up in the 60s, so I love 60s, 70s, 80s music. And these guys, when people do unison singing in the studio, they're all around a mic and they're doing we used to call those California harmonies. And, they do that in their songs, and I think that's great because you don't hear that or see that a lot anymore. It's normally basic harmonies between the vocalist doing an overdub or a couple other singers, but I love the unison. I love the California harmonies. I love the guitar sound. I wish these guys the best of luck because this is what we needed for a long time, is to bring this type of music back. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Rock on, guys. Again, it's an absolute pleasure and honor to have you guys on the show. I'm going to follow your progress. In a year or two, we'll get you back on the show and see and then you'll have more tours to talk about, probably an album out by then or another album, because I know you're waiting for one now to come out. But let's get you back on the show in the future. And as I say, it's been an absolute honor to have you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barry.
You're welcome, guys. And to the listener, I say thank you for being here, and always dance and sing, and let the music bring your soul to the surface for all the world to see. Until next time, have a shuffle your feet kind of week, and good night. You've been listening to This House of Musicians radio show on Reality Radio 101.